Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm a Ukrainian, and I have decided I will vlog daily from my country Ukraine since the start of this awful war with Russia. And in my daily videos I try to update you with the important real-life situations in Ukraine, and of course I'm always glad to answer your questions and to clarify some facts from the history of Ukraine, our culture, or whatever really interests you. And I'm very grateful for the advice you provide in the comments, and also I am very grateful for the questions that inspire my future videos. And one of the questions that I pretty often get is the question, why didn't we buy enough weapons if we knew that Russia is such a bad neighbor? And being extremely grateful as a Ukrainian for the support, and especially for the military support that we receive from the allies, from the United States, from many countries of the European Union, from the United Kingdom, I believe I need to explain a little bit the situation with weapons in Ukraine. Why do we have these problems? Why do we need these weapons? And so on and so forth. So first of all, Ukraine is a very big country. From one point of view, it's really good, but from the other point of view, it makes other countries feel a little bit uncomfortable when they think about the size of our country or even the size of our population. And I think this is also one of the reasons when some member states think about Ukraine as a part of the European Union. Because when we enter a union or something like that, it definitely will be felt. With like 40 million Ukrainians, with this territory that is the largest territory in Europe, definitely our presence will be felt. So after the fall of the USSR, of the Soviet Union, many countries in the world were afraid of Ukraine with its post-Soviet heritage, with lots of weapons that were located on our territory, with nuclear weapons. And that's why many initiatives, including Western initiatives, were focused on this demilitarization of Ukraine. And in general, it was a pretty popular trend in the previous decades all over the world. And to tell you the truth, just before this war, I was, and I hope I will return to this condition, extremely peaceful person. And of course, if it's possible, like to have various demilitarization processes and to guarantee that this won't hurt the countries, it's totally okay. I don't want to have like tanks and weapons in my garden, but Ukraine was greatly encouraged to destroy its weapons or to give its weapons to, guess whom? Russia. And many countries, including the United States, supported the idea of demilitarization of Ukraine. One mistake that we have made was Budapest Memorandum, when Ukraine gave all of its nuclear weapons for the guarantees of a protection of its independence. And I know that many people make jokes on us, like memorandum is always a document that no one ever follows. And of course it was our mistake. But there were also many respected countries that promised to guarantee protection. I'm not speaking about Russia, I'm speaking about other world countries. I'm not going to name them, but nothing. And the only argument that we receive back is that, like, well, actually memorandum guarantees you nothing. But okay, even if we were foolish to do that, why are you using this situation and seeing what it led to? So, but I'm not going to speak about nuclear weapons because this is a very complicated subject, and I had a separate vlog at the beginning of this war on this question. But in general, we had lots of missiles, we had lots of planes, we had lots of tanks, and many of them were destroyed, cut, or taken back to Russia in the period from 1991 to 2012 or something like that. And many countries who are now our allies were encouraging Ukraine to give all of that back. Also, President Yanukovych, who was the reason of so many Ukrainian problems, and who is a definitely created by Russians figure who was on a mission. Lots of ministers who came into his government were actually Russian citizens. And also he wanted to turn Ukraine from its way into the West, into European Union, into NATO. And his completely wrong and intolerable by Ukrainians politics led to Maidan and revolution, but he was definitely a Putin's agent, and this is easy to check because now he's in Russia, and from time to time there appears news that Putin wants to return him back to Ukraine, or he wants to put him in charge of the territories that Russia temporarily occupied. So anyway, he is a complete creation of Putin, and he was planned to be something like his puppet president of Ukraine, similar to Lukashenko. So Yanukovych worked really hard, and during these 2 years before the start of the Ukrainian-Russian war in 2014, he did a lot to destroy the last and most important storages of Ukrainian weapons. And of course, after the revolution, the Ukrainian National Bank and Treasury was empty, and lots of money Yanukovych took away with him to Russia. And there are lots of, videos on that. And Ukraine, having won this revolution, having returned our country back to its Western railroad, if it's possible to say, we didn't have money at all. And at the same time, Russia started the annexation of Crimea and Donbas region. And lots of money was spent to protect these territories, and also lots of money lacked in general in the budget. And taking into account that we had war in the east of Ukraine, we managed to save the economy, but still we did not have enough money for buying like super modern weapons. But another important thing that Russian war in Ukraine that actually started in 2014 was left without the needed attention and reaction from the West. And many countries, many global players encouraged once again Ukraine to look for negotiations to forgive Russia its aggression. And they were trying to make Putin like them, and lots of these treaties and lots of the ideas, they were focused not on how to return Ukraine its territories back, but how to, satisfy Putin. And in Europe, you don't have many countries with active military conflicts. That's the way it was called back in 2014, with war. And when you are a country with war inside, other countries, they act differently with you than when you are a healthy country. And not many EU countries or the US and other were ready to sell the weapons. So aspect number one, we did not have enough money to buy these weapons because Yanukovych stole the treasury. We had revolution, war started in the eastern part of Ukraine, and infrastructure and so on. It's always expensive. And other countries who wanted to, bring peace to the relations between Ukraine and Russia, they were doing it by sacrificing Ukraine and by trying to satisfy Putin. And to satisfy Putin, could they sell weapons to Ukraine? Of course not, because this could make him angry. This is just like with Nord Stream 2. Everybody knew this will lead to a full-scale war in Ukraine, but everybody agreed because that's what Putin wanted, that's what Europe wanted, and so on. And there are also special rules for the trade with countries that have military conflicts on their territory. So it was not easy to buy weapons at all. But anyway, being not a bad country, we managed to develop some of our own weapons, and from time to time we still receive the support from the West. And somewhere in the 2015, 2017, the situation went became seriously better, and Ukrainian military production also appeared, and our scientists and our, people responsible for that managed to create Neptune, for example, the weapon that was used to sink Moscow warship, also Stugna, Vilha, and this production was pretty successful and important. But then we have elected President Zelensky, whom I love now and support, but I did not vote for him because at the moment of his election campaign, he was a president of peace. He was playing this like opposition with Poroshenko, who was depicted as a president of war, who had completely negative attitude to Putin and Russia. And Zelensky came as a showman, and he was trying, one of his messages was like, it is really easy to stop the war with Russia, you just have to stop shooting. And he believed, and I think he honestly believed, that he can speak with Putin and everything will be okay. And to make the context positive, he froze the development of many of these weapons because he wanted to show the world, and I guess Putin, that Ukraine is a totally peaceful country and that we're not looking to strengthen our military sector, but just like looking for negotiations and some political decisions of the problems caused by Russia in Ukraine. But in general, we all see what it led to. And of course, having a neighbor like Russia, you cannot be peaceful, you cannot be relaxed. And I do agree with today's President Zelensky, who says that we have to be like Israel, always prepared, because like the last 3 centuries of neighborhood with Russia proved that they do not respect our borders, they do not see our culture, our language, they want to erase our identity. So the only way for us to survive is to be very militarized, to be well prepared, to have all the weapons around and to know how to use them, and wait until the Russia falls and loses all of its empire ambitions. Of course, I understand there are lots of inner problems. You will say corruption, you will say not smart decisions, and I will agree on that because all countries have problems like that. And once again, among post-Soviet countries, I do think we are not bad at reforming, and there are signs of corruption in the EU, in the US, and so on. But in general, we are seeking for this normal world, normal democracy, normal relations, and I think that this is worth respect. So apart from these inner problems, there were outside problems, and these outside problems led to demilitarization, destroyment of weapons, and leaving Ukraine unarmed. And this is one of the reasons why actually Putin felt so confident when he started this war, and he believed he will be able to finish it like in 3 days. And tomorrow we are going to mark the 100 of days of this war. And definitely, apart from Ukrainian bravery and confidence that we need to win this war for freedom, for our existence, it is also for the help of our allies who send us weapons, who teach us how to use these weapons. And I'm very grateful for the support of the United States, of the UK, of our close neighbors, Baltic countries and Poland, who send the weapons, who teach how to use these weapons. And it takes some time, but still I am sure that this will definitely strengthen us and give us more and more possibilities to win this war. And I hope that fewer and fewer Russian soldiers will come. Maybe they will understand. From their phone calls and so on, we realize they are very much afraid of the weapons that the West sends to Ukraine. And with these weapons, we will be able to protect the world from the doom plans of Russia. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for providing me with the important information on the decisions that are taken in your country and what people think about Ukraine. This is very important for me and for my countrymen. Thank you for becoming my patrons, for buying me coffee, and of course a huge thank you for new subscribers, because these growing numbers inspire me and they give me a perfect platform to share information about the real situation in Ukraine. Thank you once again, and Slava Ukraini!